Wheel of Stupid!
Hello folks, it's time for Wheel of Stupid, where we deal with a series of objections on related topics. The topic this time is marriage, and our focus is this little gem which we're told is making rounds on Facebook. Now presumably this is being sent around as a reply to something like this, as though to say, hey, these types of marriage are seen as normal in the Bible too, so why don't you allow that? Okay, that's fair, if you can meet all the other conditions involved. What do I mean by that? Why don't we spin the wheel and find out about one in particular? Let her rip, sweetie. The topic is levirate marriage. That means that a man's widow has to marry her surviving brother. Let's see if these fundy atheists can answer some questions about it. Fundy atheist number 1. Who practiced levirate marriage?
Those primitive Hebrews did. They were so sex crazed they were always looking for ways to get more women.
Wrong. Fundy atheist 2. Why did the Hebrews practice levirate marriage?
Because they wanted lots of sex?
Wrong. And now Fundy Atheist 3. Does all this mean that the graphic here is right in implying that it's a legitimate form of marriage today? Heh. Of course the answer is no. At least in the modern West there's none of the justifications available for it found in the Old Testament. We have a better ability to regulate inheritance. We have means of social support available for the aged that they didn't have. And we're not worried about being dishonored by not having descendants. So, if you meet any of those conditions, feel free to write your congressman and ask them to pass a law allowing levirate marriage. Let her rip, sweetie. This time it's Genesis 16. Unfortunately, it's not too clear what the point of this one was, but we'll ask our funny atheist some questions to see what happens. Funny atheist number 1, please explain why Hagar was Sarah's property.
Because it says she was her handmaid?
Sorry, not good enough. Funny atheist number 2. Why did Sarah tell Abraham to have sex with Hagar?
Because they were all perverts?
Oh, unbelievable. Oh well, that was an easy one. Let her rip, sweetie. This time it's soldier and prisoner of war, appealing to two passages in Numbers and Deuteronomy. Do these give us guidelines for marriage we should follow today? Let's see what these fundy atheists do with our questions. Fundy atheist number 1. Why did Israel spare 32,000 Midianite virgins in Numbers 31?
Well, duh, because they wanted lots of sex.
Good grief, these guys have dirty minds. Fundy atheist number 2. Please explain the treatment of a female prisoner of war in Deuteronomy 21:11-14.
Gee, that's easy. Those Hebrews were a bunch of sex-crazed maniacs who tried to get it any way they could.
Sheesh, you gotta wonder what kind of social life these guys have. And now, fundy atheist number 3. Do these passages offer us models for marriage in modern times? Oh well, the answer of course is no. Numbers, as we saw, isn't even about marriage. And Deuteronomy actually undermines one of the dehumanizing principles of ancient warfare, which allowed indiscriminate raping of female prisoners. So unless you're a fundy atheist whose morals are in the gutter already, you won't need that. And of course, despite the graphic, there's nothing about having to sexually submit in either passage. Let her rip, sweetie. It's male and female slave. We covered the slavery and sexual submission aspect in our previous shows, so there's really only one question to ask our fundy atheist contestant. Let's get to that. Fundy atheist, why was a female selected for the male in Exodus 21:4?
Duh. Because they were too stupid to get on Match.com.
Oh, please. Actually, an arranged marriage was just the way any marriage was done in that society. Either one's parents or legal guardians would be responsible for finding a spouse for you. And that's the way it has been done by a great number of human societies for a very long time, and even today. So hey, arranged marriages? Yeah, go ahead and use that as a biblical model if you want to. No skin off our noses. Let her rip, sweetie. It's rapist and his victim. This one could prove very interesting as we question our fundy atheist. Let's get started. Fundy atheist. Why does Deuteronomy 22:28-29 indicate that the woman involved is raped?
Duh, it says in plain English that she was seized by force by the guy. That sure sounds like rape to me.
Alligators. So, there you have it. What we have is not a woman being forced to marry a rapist, but a man being required to make up for his sin of seducing a girl who through his own fault became less marriageable, and also compensating the family for the dowry they would have lost. A model for today? Well, some would say it ought to be. It used to be called doing the honorable thing. Let her rip, sweetie. It's man, wives, and concubines. Will the fundy atheist this round prove any less contextually clueless? Let's get started and find out. Fundy atheist number 1. Name one of the 2 main purposes for a man in the ancient world to have a concubine.
I can say it in 4 letters. S-E-X.
Oh, pooh, I was wondering what the 4th one was. Fundy atheist number 2. Can you tell us the second reason why a man in the ancient world had a concubine?
Well, if sex wasn't the first reason, it must have been the second. I mean, look at all those kings that had thousands of them.
Yeah, we sure know what these guys live for, huh? So there you have it. The purpose of concubines was pretty much the same as it was for levirate marriage, which we covered in an earlier segment. Which means that like levirate marriage, it'd be a bit of a stretch to say that there's any application for today. At least in modern Western nations. Let her rip, sweetie. It's polygamy, or multiple wives. Much of what we said in our prior episode on levirate marriage also applies here, so there's really only one question to ask our fundy atheist. Let's do that. Fundy atheist, apart from reasons mentioned in prior vids, why might a king or political figure like David or Solomon obtain multiple wives?
Well, being sex crazed hasn't been the answer so far. Maybe it is this time.
Oh well, another flubber. Actually, the answer is that multiple wives are often obtained for the sake of achieving political alliances, which helped ensure the stability of the society. So does that have any application today? Maybe, if any of you happen to be tribal leaders in an unstable social setting. See you next time on
Wheel of Stupid!
Oh, hey folks, just one last note before we go. We still have one more block from that Facebook graphic which we haven't considered. But the issues in it are rather more complex than we'd like to handle in this series. So, we'll be devoting more time to those topics in a different set of videos. See you around.